Can you hear everything? Test 1, 2, got it? Give you a sec. Okay, audio sounding okay? Good. Okay, fantastic. All right, greetings everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It is a historic day for the residents of Festus. The county clerk's office has returned the results of the petitions today. We are joined by many of the citizens who participated in the petition effort, led by Mary Fakes, Gabe Cotton, and Erica Carter. Here to give an opening statement and take some questions is Miss Mary Fakes.
Good evening. First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Jeannie Goff and the staff at the Jefferson County Clerk's Office for their dedication ensuring a fair and legal recall process. We appreciate their hard work, especially considering the time constraints over the holiday weekend. I want to be clear, we have taken no pleasure in the necessity of conducting this recall. This is more than about one bad decision. This was simply the beginning, necessary redress after months of repeated endured abuses endured by the citizens of Festus. Over the last 7 months, citizens came together and implored the Festus mayor and city council to simply slow down, be more transparent, and have an open dialogue. When we failed at that attempted dialogue, the citizens requested through a petition to have their voices be heard with a vote regarding a proposed data center. The request for a vote was summarily rejected by the mayor. The citizens of Festus were systematically denied representation at every turn. Both the council and mayor have repeatedly shown continued attempts to subvert the will of the people. The citizens are granted the right to petition the government to redress their grievances. In compliance with the Missouri Constitution and all statutory requirements, the citizens with me here today dedicated hundreds of hours to canvassing door to door and near polling locations while collecting the required signatures on a recall petition. The next expected steps would be that Ms. Goff, having deemed the recall petitions for Mayor Richards and Councilman Cook and Dennis to be sufficient, were submitted her notification to the city of Festus earlier today. The recall team behind me, per state statutes, will have 10 additional days to submit approximately 30 additional signatures that will be needed to complete the process. And when we hand that back to Mrs. Goff's office, complete the final assessment of the Ward 1 for sufficiency. After which we would respectfully request, the petitions having been found to be sufficient by the county clerk, that the City of Festus City Council order the questions to be submitted to the voters through a special election as soon as feasibly possible. We understand this recall process has been very difficult for all involved. Expeditiously resolving the issues will allow everyone involved to bring the matter to a close and to allow the citizens of Festus to begin the rebuilding of trust with the city. Thank you.
And with that, we'll take questions.
What's your plans for the, because there was the data center approved by the council, what's your plans for trying to stop that?
So today our efforts have been focused on recalling those in official offices after the April 7th election to then replace those through a legal election and then work with them hand in hand to see what their next steps would be.
Just talk about how successful you were at collecting the signatures and the response you were getting in the community as you were getting those signatures.
So when we were going door to door, can you switch? Thank you. When we were going door to door, I would say 9 out of 10 people were happy to see us, and oftentimes when we were walking down the streets with our clipboards, people would stop us and ask if we were working with the recall and say, you know, my house is so many houses down, can you stop so my adult children can sign or my husband or wife can sign? So we didn't face much opposition at all. We were met with open arms, and a lot of the residents that were happy to sign were the ones that have lived there the longest, because they don't want to see their town be destroyed and I mean, we're not opposed to change, we're opposed to the way that it's happened.
So I received a response from the mayor and their representation, the attorney, and I just wanted to ask you kind of your reaction to their response. The first part is, you know, they talk about the, I guess, close nature of the certification, and it shows that there's not support for this recall. What is your reaction to that?
So we didn't come to the decision lightly. So gathering the signatures wasn't easy. It was a deliberate, organized effort. Everyone was motivated by the severity in the situation. The recall was an emergency tool. We were forced to break the glass and pull the alarm. We wish that it hadn't come to this, but because we were left with no other choice, with being ignored over and over again by the pattern that the city had set, this is what it had come to.
They said that they don't believe there are any of the petitions had sufficient signatures.
So the county clerk has deemed them sufficient through a very rigorous assessment of each and every individual signature, comparing them against voter registration rolls. We are very confident with the due diligence that was paid by the county clerk that all signatures that were accepted are legally binding, and we are very happy with our results that we received.
And the last, oh, go ahead.
So the petitions were signed, they were certified by the county clerk, they were residents of Festus. The rules for the recall were we had to collect 25% of the registered voters. We collected over that threshold. Mayor Richards made it clear that he wanted to silence us at every turn. He's currently attempting to do that in changes of the rules of the decorum in a town hall meeting to block citizens from using their First Amendment rights, and this is unacceptable. So in repeated attempts to invalidate our position, we have to stop this today. So this is just another example of what we're dealing with. So this is very uncomfortable for the people that are going through the recall, but it's a step that we had to take.
They claim that some of the citizens who signed were misled. Would you argue against that?
So when we don't know what the citizens said, we don't know what was said to them, so it's hard to comment on something that's not very specific. The citizens had an opportunity to read the recall, which is clearly defined at the top of the recall that they placed their signature on, the reasons for the recall, and so many of them, as Erica has explained, came to us wanting to sign. So we believe that it was a fair and open process.
So not only that, when we were collecting signatures at the polling places on April 7th, we had people waiting in line 3 and 4 deep, and we had 3 and 4 people collecting signatures. So 12 people waiting in line is not being misled. It's waiting in line to have your turn to sign your name.
So when would you like to see an election? How are you going to convince the city council to schedule an election as soon as possible? And why do you want to have an election as soon as possible?
So the state constitution is very clear. The state constitution says once the county clerk in a third-class city establishes the significance and the validity of the recall petition, that it is then turned over to the city, which it was done today, and the city shall request of the county council, the county clerk, to place the question on a ballot. The Constitution is very crisp and clear on that.
But the county clerk has also expressed to me that she'd like to lump this in with the other things on the ballot in November. You don't want to wait till the November ballot. Tell me about why you'd like to see an election sooner than then.
The statutes also say that this is to be a special election. So we are not willing to wait until November. We understand the heavy lift of placing something on a ballot. We understand that. We understand it is going to cost money to do that. But keeping someone in an office when the citizens have requested a recall, we feel is not necessarily in the best interest to continue with the trust rebuilding at this point.
Festus Mayor Sam Richards, in a statement to the Leader newspaper earlier this week, insinuated that your petition efforts could have been funded by foreign entities. I'd like to ask, are you or anyone you're aware of part of a foreign government?
None of us that I am aware of, and I can speak for myself, I'm not part of any foreign entity. I have not received any foreign or domestic funds to fund my efforts with regards to the recall. We bought our own ink pens, we paid for our own gas, we paid for the printer, paper, and ink. This was truly a grassroots effort that crossed all walks of life.
And how do you feel about the mayor's attempts to invalidate your efforts?
I am saddened. I'm saddened that it got to this point. It should never have gotten to this point. If you are an elected official, your job is to represent those that elected you into that position. Representation means listening and having open, honest communication and transparency in the decisions that you're making.
The only outside funding that was used was our team did pick up the garbage that was left on April 7th. The $30,000 to $40,000 worth of packed signage that was left, we used to hold the petitions that people signed their names on.
And you're talking about the PAC that gave $45,000 to the pro-data center incumbents in April 7th's election, correct?
Yes, and then they left their garbage on the church's parking lot, so we picked it up for them.
Kind of going back to the statement, there's just a couple more things I just wanted to get your reaction on. They said they don't believe there was legal basis for this. What is your kind of argument to the legal basis?
So, since we do not have an attorney here, I'm not going to comment on anything of legality of anything. I will say that as citizens, we read and understood the Constitution and followed all constitutional requirements as well as state statutes.
And for any members of media, I just want to let you know, we do have a letter from Steve Jeffrey, who represents Wake Up Jeffco. If you guys want that letter, I'll send it to you. But that was in response to the city's concerns.
Anything else that you wanted to add or say? Anybody else who wanted to speak?
I do. We wanted to thank all of the citizens for packing City Hall, filling the gym at the high school, volunteering sweat, equity, gas, free time. Thank you for signing the petitions, making your voices heard. Together, Festus is making American history. It feels like little bitty things that we're doing. We're making sacrifices, missing time with family, but this is huge. People keep telling us that we're making a playbook, and I feel like we really are. This is my new group of friends. I love all these people that I didn't know before. It really kind of melts my heart to see all these people here. And I'm going to tear up just like her. It's so sweet to have such a sense of community. The people of Festus are gathering in public space, celebrating together, supporting local business, and we've kind of formed an unbreakable bond. So this crappy situation turned into my new group of friends.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. And so what's next? The council has to then vote to
I don't
put it
know
on the
that-
ballot?
I think Jeannie Goff can probably better express the exact process for her office. But again, the Constitution and the statutes are very clear. Once the county clerk certifies that the petition met all requirements, then the city shall place the question on a ballot as soon as feasibly possible.
You have, as citizens, reached a significant milestone that many communities never do. Yet you said that you're it's saddened that it had to come to this. So tell me about the mixed emotions. That there's a lot of smiles about what's been accomplished, but it's also a difficult task to have to do. Is it?
It was, and these people are wonderful people that gave their time and treasures to do this for their community. But it saddens me that elected officials would ignore the will of the people, no matter how many people showed up, no matter how many people pleaded, nothing helped. It was constantly, they subverted their offices by refusing to listen to their constituency. And that's what's sad.
Sorry, I want to follow up one more time, because I received a message from the city attorney that says the council has to find the petition sufficient. to
Under
order.
Missouri law, a third-class city cannot refuse to put a recall question to the voters if the county clerk has officially certified the petition as sufficient. State statute governing third-class cities stipulate that if the clerk's certificate finds the petition sufficient, the city council shall order the question to be submitted to the voters of the city. The word shall, as described by Steve Jeffries, means has to do it. The council has no legal authority to ignore or reject a certified recall election. The recall process operates under strict guidelines and limitations. So the first is petition requirement. The petition must be signed by registered voters equaling at least 25% of total eligible to succeed the income, and we did that within 60 days, so that's check. Allowed grounds recall is permitted specifically for misconduct in office, incompetence, or failure to perform duties by law. Do we see that? Yes. Okay. Term limitations, and that one doesn't even apply, so check. We did it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to make a statement, actually, from Andrew here, concerning the rest of the country, because this is happening all over the place. Do not give up. Millions of dollars are spent to make you think the fight is over before it is actually finished. Simply ignore their talking points and stand strong. Our Constitution was designed precisely for a moment like this. Use it. You have the inalienable right to petition your government for redress of grievances. Stand with your neighbors, participate in public discourse, and work together. The only tool you need is our democracy. The opposition has billions of dollars at their disposal, but they do make mistakes. It is possible to fight back if you channel your passion in a healthy direction. Now is the time to lay down our differences and recognize a common bond. We are all Americans. We all know what it means to want a safe and healthy environment for our families. We all know what it means to want peace and solitude in our home. And we all know how it would hurt to have that home taken away. We cannot let this happen.
On the point two you brought up, Erica, are you referring specifically to anything in particular as far as what they did or didn't do?
I think mainly it's the lack of transparency and accountability, but please stay tuned.
Any other questions?
I don't have your name. Can you say?
Gabe Cotton.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You guys, any of you need a legal expert to talk to?
I was going when he was talking, so I was really hoping you'd ask how many people.